What's up, BookTube? I wanted to talk today about something that's probably a little bit more personal from a BookTube standpoint, yet still related to BookTube. And that's kind of the genesis of the love that I have for reading. And it really started so long ago, even though I've had peaks and valleys of when I really have been seriously into reading versus times when I've maybe been less into reading. And so when I think back about it, I think back to the first book that I really remember reading, and that is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. And I read this when I want to say I read this when I was probably about 13 or 14 years old. And it was part of a class that I was in. And when I started reading the book, it just really made me think about how you can just lose yourself in a story and you can enjoy the story as the author is telling it, and yet you can find ways to add your perspectives into the story as you're reading it. So for example, what a character looks like, or what the town is like, and imagining where the church is, or imagining where the party store is, or imagining where City Hall is, imagining what the character's hair is really like, how heavy they are, how skinny they are, how tall they are, how big their hands are. All these little things you can start to imagine, you start to add pieces to the puzzle. And it really struck home with me because that was a time when I was going through a challenging phase and just battling some kind of personal issues that I was dealing with. And I remember that first time losing myself in a book, and again, it was this book, and I lost myself in that book, and I just thought, what an adventure, because I had seen the movie, but reading the book was just kind of different, and it was just a great opportunity for me to just kind of go into a different world and just kind of escape from other things that maybe were not quite as pleasant or not quite as fun, and to be able to immerse yourself in fiction. And so for a period of time, however brief or however long that period is, you can escape and go into a different world. Now, sometimes you might read a book in one setting. You might devour it in one setting. And that's cool. And so maybe for 4 or 5 hours, with maybe a few small breaks, you just totally annihilate this book that you really got into and you really enjoyed and you just simply could not put down. And that's happened to me a few times. Not as much as I would like. If you've seen enough videos on this channel, you know that I am a notoriously slow reader who takes a long time to get through even sometimes short stories. And now part of that is because I have a lot on my plate right now, and I'm also really involved in writing. I have a novel that I'm working on, and I'm really trying to finish it, and I'm working on the submission package to send to agents and maybe publishers. So I've really been working on that, and so that combined with a significant health issue that I had, it just kind of got me away from reading. But in the time that I got away from it, I started really thinking about the roots of reading, and it was a reminder of why I started reading in the first place, which was to escape. And so even as much as I spend a lot of time writing, and I enjoy writing tremendously, I still want to make sure I don't lose sight of the joy, the exercise for the imagination that comes with being able to read and immerse yourself in a really good story. So that's what it means to me to be able to just immerse yourself in that, to kind of block things out, all the stresses of the world that are unfortunately going to be there when you're done reading. You can still escape from it for a little bit. Now, for some people, that escape could be any number of things. It could be knitting. It could be watching sports on TV. It could be reading a magazine, going for a walk, doing photography, or whatever. And so you got to find your way. And for many of us, you who are probably watching this video because it's on BookTube and YouTube, for you it's probably reading. And that's fine. I still deal with issues. And even to this day, many, many years later, I won't say how many, but a lot of years later, I still look at it and think reading is still that great escape from a lot of the things that maybe are stressing you out. To just go into this fantasy world for a period of time, emerge, come back to reality, deal with your realities, and then go back into another fantasy world. perhaps a different book that catches your eye, that captures your imagination. So enjoy the reading that you do. Find the books that really give you pleasure. Explore different books that make you think beyond maybe your comfort zone, or challenge you to step beyond your comfort zone, because that's only going to help you to be able to find peace, even if it's just temporary, in a world that can sometimes be very chaotic. Many of you right now know that, of course, we're coming down the stretch run of a political campaign. And that can be very stressful for a lot of people. And believe me, I see it in my social media feeds. It's only going to get worse probably in the next 2 months. So what better time to really jump into and really start reading some good books? Because I think a lot of us need a break from the craziness that the world brings us on a near daily basis. So look for some good books that are going to inspire you, that's going to open up doors for you. For me, way back in the day, it was The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. For you, it might be a different book. Find that book, find your escape, exercise your imagination, take that temporary leave from the stresses, the depression of reality that might be dragging you down. You might find something that you really enjoy that could relight that pilot and get you back going again. Find something that you enjoy, BookTube. I'll see you back for future videos.